And welcome back. Well, of course, this Sunday is a very special day. It's Father's Day. And that's why we thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about dads in a special 20/40/60 edition on fatherhood. There's going to be a great event held this Saturday in Miami. It's called Brunch with Kings, celebrating fatherhood. That event will happen near downtown Miami. And joining us today is the founder of the group that is co-sponsoring it. His name is Jefferson Noel. He's the youngest member of this illustrious group. And also with us, two generations of dads from the same family. Clark Baptiste, who is looking pretty alert for a guy who has a young daughter who keeps him up probably. And his dad, Richard Baptiste. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. James.
So I have to ask you, Richard, do you think that fatherhood today is tougher than it is now?
Definitely, yes.
Why?
Really tough. It's back then, you know, we mostly listen to the parents, right? Now kids here, mostly you have to fight with them, you know, to convince them, you know, when they're trying to do what they're not supposed to do. Especially regarding the law. It's not easy because they got, you know, with the technology,
yeah,
they got too many things, they learn too many things.
Too many things to distract them.
Yes, and then, you know, they try to argue with you. You know, make the point what they say is right, you know, and then they always tell you everything you say. This is that back then, you know, that's the whole generation.
That's old school.
Yeah,
right.
That's the problem. It's not easy.
Yeah. What about that, Clark?
He's not lying because I work at an elementary school. And I could definitely see the difference, you know, in how the kids react to their parents, and let's say it's the parents too. A lot of times the parents are more tolerable now. There's no, like, how would I say, the structure. There's no strict discipline as it was back, you know, back in my day when my parents was raising me. Yeah. You know, I was blessed to have the best of both worlds because I have a little brother named Andy. He's about 7 years younger than me, and I could definitely see my parents were more lax with him than with me.
Do you find yourself interacting with your daughter and thinking, man, this is what my dad used to do with me?
Yes, there's certain things that, like, you know, just giving my daughter attention and, you know, teaching her the basics in life, you know, the essentials in life early on. You know, I'm pretty sure my parents, I don't remember what they taught me when I was a toddler, but I can, you know, like right now, anytime I go to a store with my daughter and we're walking to the parking lot, I say, hey, what do we do before we cross the street? And she knows. We hold mommy and daddy's hand, look both ways. And it is those things that I think is a real key, you know, to teach these children nowadays.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Jefferson, your group is co-hosting this event. Why did you think this was an important topic to tackle right now?
Because fatherhood is deeply important, and I believe that fathers are irreplaceable in our society. And as the founder of Barbershop Speaks, we've been hosting conversations for the past 9 years, and I have a lot of conversations with fathers, especially this past year when we held what's called a series called the Fatherhood Enrichment Initiative. And month after month, week after week, I would have conversations with fathers, and they would express that they are doing the best they can, they're hardworking, but they don't get the appreciation or love that they deserve. And so when Anthony Robinson of the Overtown Children and Youth Coalition said, let's do something together to celebrate and honor fathers, I said, let's do it, Brunch with Kings, because men, they deserve a place where they feel that appreciation and love. You know, my father has meant a lot in my life. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he molded me into who I am. I can say that I am a speaker, I'm an educator because of him, because of so much he poured into me. Now I feel a responsibility to pour out into the world.
That's really enriching for me to hear you say that. You know, because we know the stats that when it comes to black fathers especially, many are not involved in the home. And so I wonder, Richard, what kind of impact you think that leaves on the kids who grow up without their dad right there?
Yeah, it's not easy for them. It's not easy. If you think most of the kids who got in trouble, you know, always monoparental, you know, so they raised with mother, dad not here for them, that's causing problem. Because the mother cannot deal with this, you know. Imagine you got 2, 3 children.
It's tough.
The mother is tough for the mother, you know.
What's the one thing you wanted him to know?
I mean, I taught him a lot of things, you know. Like, I made a role model for him. He followed me. I try to teach him. I tell him the way I, you know, taught him. Just he got a daughter. He follow me anyway. That's why sometimes, like like my granddaughter, when she's at home, they don't want her to watch TV. When she come over to my house, I let her watch TV a little bit. As a grandfather, you know, my son, he knows.
Sure.
He knows what to do.
Different approach. So it's funny, my grandfather was the father figure in my family, and I tell this story a lot, and I didn't realize the impact he had on me till years later when I became a dad. And I remember being in the car when our kids were young, and my wife was giving me the business about something, I'm not sure what. And so right when I was about to say, okay, enough, I was about to snap, in the rearview mirror I saw our daughter looking at this interaction. At that point I went, because I want my daughter to know that in her relationship she'll have a voice.
Yes.
And so I wonder if you've had that kind of moment, Clark, where you kind of flash back to when your dad was around with your parents, and you thought, this is how I'm a dad now because of what I saw him do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, when I first got married and I was living with my wife, you know how they ask you, hey, can you fix this? And you're like, yeah, I got it. You have a timeline in your head, and they have a timeline. Yeah. And if you don't get it done in time, it's like all the bickering and banter, like, hey, why didn't you do this? And I would get annoyed, and I'm like, I take a breather. I'm like, I just remember the times with my dad and my mom, had those type of interaction, and my dad would just like basically like, smooth talker, come on, baby.
Not him.
This guy, he's a smooth talker.
Yeah. One more thing I want to get in real quickly, and I think it's important. I read something that said that there's a myth about black fathers, and that is that they're not involved. In fact, the reality is that the stats show that black fathers, Jefferson, are more involved than others.
Yeah, according to an article by the Huffington Post in 2017, they spoke about how black fathers are reading to their children at a higher rate than their counterparts, and it's actually very true. And I have a lot of friends who have kids, and they're constantly asking me to buy books for their kids. And I don't know why they're asking me to buy books for their and they're reading all the time to their kids, and I see it on a personal level through my personal experience, and the article just reinforced what we already knew. Yeah.
Well, an organization, 100 Black Men, of course, has the motto, what they see is what they'll be.
Yeah. Correct.
And so you guys are great examples. Sir Jefferson, you've become what your father saw that you could be, and for you to be here with your son is living proof that he got a lot of those lessons that you taught him.
Yeah, but what I like with him, he's still listening to me.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he still listens to me.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you got 4 children, but he still take my advice.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do things without asking me for some advice.
Okay.
And he's very calm, very humble. Yeah. When mom talking, mama yelling, he never raised his voice over his mom.
He got that from you.
Mom, why are you yelling for? And then I say, Mom, he's right. Why are you yelling?
And you don't have to yell. That's the bottom line.
No.
That's important. No. Yeah. Neither did my grandfather, and that's why I'm cool and calm most of the time. Guys, thank you so much for sharing this. And again, this event, Brunch with King, celebrating fatherhood, is happening this Saturday afternoon. You can find details about it on our website at cbsmiami.com. And go dads, keep doing what you do.